Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to Brooksville, Florida, here at Olympus. The 2026 Disc Golf Pro Tour season is about to begin tomorrow with round one at the Supreme Flight Open. It's press conference time. A little bit different format now. We got three guys who are all in different avenues in the business side of the game, as well as playing, I suppose. Dominic DeFebo, president of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, Paul Macbeth, Nate Heinold. Guys, before we jump into some of the other questions, I just want to ask in general, busy off seasons for all three of you. I want to go down the line, starting with Nate. What does an off season look like for you, and what are you focusing on?
You know, for us, we, this morning I was doing Champions Cup vendor contracts, and so there's no off season. We have enough events to where the off season is almost busier than the season, for us at least, because of the planning we have to do and the contracts and getting venues lined up and getting course changes. And so our off season is more during the summer when we have kind of everything ready to go. And so it was very busy for us and cold. So
yeah, for me it's being dad, so that's a lot of fun going into the off season, just decompressing, being there with my wife and son. And then it's also fun because I get to do some course design, some disc design, and then the last part when it starts to warm back up here in Florida, it's get ready for disc golf time.
Yeah, I'll kind of echo what Nate said. It was extremely busy off season. Obviously, we have Powerball as a new presenting partner of Disc Golf Pro Tour. Super excited. A lot goes into activating a partner like Powerball, and so there was just a huge team effort that went into and continue to go into this partnership. So we're super excited about that, and really just worked a lot on personally worked a lot just on the infrastructure of the tour. And really setting us up to really allow us to grow into the future.
Well, I want to ask a group question here. I think this is kind of the perfect group to talk about this with. It's very hard to go back and retrofit an existing course to match the demands of an Elite Series event nowadays. Olympus has done that very well. We'll talk more about that in a second. But I'd love to hear from each of your perspectives and how you do these types of things. What does it take to actually turn a disc golf course into a venue for the people? Dominic.
Yeah, I think it's a big effort. I'm not going to speak to the course design. I'm not a course designer, but I think what we're looking at is kind of the complete package, right? So what does it take to make an event successful? We have our players that we have to think about. We have our fans that we have to think about, right? And we have all of our partners, and that's community partners. So we're working a lot more with visitor bureaus and sports commissions and things like that to really build a complete experience. And there's just so much that goes into it, whether it's making sure that we have parking, we have the layout that we want, and the course. It looks nice. I mean, we're at Olympus here. I mean, if you watch this on DGN or on YouTube, you're going to just see it, and it looks just as good on coverage as it does, in person. And so I think we want courses that are visually appealing, but also just challenge the players in as many ways as possible. And then we have to think about how do we get fans around those courses. And so as we get more and more fans at events, that's more and more of a challenge. So we're thinking, 2, 3, 5 years, down the road, and what it's going to take to build courses for that kind of audience.
Paul, I want to just quickly interject here. As a course designer, now designing courses for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, PDGA Majors, how much are you able to make decisions on your own when it comes to cutting new fairways, designing new holes, and how much do you have to consult with other people, other organizations?
Yeah, so I would say this course is a little different than the other ones because this is my property. I own it with Dylan, and this one, it goes before even I was here. Mike Barnett, Greg Hosfeld, they have ran tournaments here for years, so they've kind of mapped this land a lot. And I think Throw Down the Mountain, the event that's actually following this one, it has kind of found a general flow, and we were able to push on that flow, extend it more to the Pro Tour level of play. And then me personally being on the Pro Tour, I've been able to see what challenges players, see what the sport needs, and see really how we need to push the game, the courses, and then not just on the challenge, but also on the spectator side. So this is one that is a little bit more difficult on that side because it's not open like some of the golf courses we play on. I think we've really grown with that year by year, and getting the spectator experience as well as challenging the players. We've really pushed that. But this one we got a little bit more freedom, I'd say, and we also do listen to someone like Ledgestone and the Pro Tour as well to see what we really need to work on and push. But as far as running an event here, that's why we hire this guy.
You know, it's the small things. Just when you're looking at the benches you put behind the tee pads, you want to save a spot to build an elevated platform for the camera guys, and that's what the team has done a really good job at. And so it's just finding the viewing lines. It's just stuff like here. Like last year, we had a few parking spots left, and that's it. So we have to work with the neighboring property to say, okay, let's take some trees down. Let's figure out what to do here. And so with growth comes challenges. And so this year, spectator counts for this event are up a lot from last year. And so that's good and bad. There's not a lot bad about it, to be honest, but the challenge is just finding spots for them to go. And so I think that's what it's really about, is just figuring out where to put people, how we can get them the best experience so they tell their friends and want to come back.
I want to pass this back to Paul. Paul, I've heard from other course designers, they've said they walk a property, they see all the holes that they want to put in, and then they get pushback from organizations because of other reasons, whether it's infrastructure, whatever. How much has that occurred? How much pushback have you gotten from Disc Golf Pro Tour or anybody that has a say in how this course needs to go?
I don't know if I've really gotten a whole lot. I think I've made course changes as well to kind of accommodate those scenarios, and I feel like I pre-planned those before even bringing something to them. But I think these two probably talk more about what they need to do, but I feel like I personally was like designing a course around those kind of aspects, but they may have more in-depth answer on that.
I guess I can pass it to Dominic. I know you're not directly related to operations. Obviously, you oversee it in a way. How much do you have to work with these organizations in general, the local designers or the teams out here, to make this Pro Tour ready? Or is it just you take your hands back and let them go?
No, I think more and more we're having more and more kind of collaboration. I mean it's a team effort. We can't. It takes a huge team to put on the events, and the larger our events get, the bigger the team, and the more organized that you have to be, and the sooner you have to start kind of the planning process. And so it's a big effort. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, you can walk this course and see every stake that gets put in the ground, you know, every flag that gets put up, every basket that gets moved between FPO and MPO. There's just a lot that goes into the operational side. And so, you know, we're always trying to improve. We're always trying to get better and build better process and more repeatable process, so that our event to event, we can create more and more consistency. And so we want to have very clear, very, very clear instruction for the local teams, is saying here's exactly what we expect, what we need on the ground, so that and then we're kind of continuing to kind of coach and get them to where, I mean, you know, someone like, you know, Nate's been working with us for a long time. It's a different relationship we have with him than, say, you know, a newer venue. And so we want to create as many repeatable processes as we can. That just makes for a better product at the end of the day.
Well, I want to pass it back to you, Dominic, for this question. We've spoken about this in the past, but I'd love to hear what other people, especially Nate on the business side of things, thinks. But ever since disc golf at the pro level started charging for tickets, charging for coverage, all that kind of stuff, the discussion of a quote-unquote freemium model of business in the world of disc golf has been discussed by fans, players alike. Dominic, I want to start with you. Does that theory of a business model work currently in the world of disc golf? And if it does, in a way, are we making any decisions on that?
I mean, everyone likes free, right? But, you know, in order to have players, you know, continue to earn money and continue to push the bounds of our courses and where we take our business, I mean, you know, it's expensive. I mean, broadcasting, creating live anything is super expensive. Obviously, you have your equipment. We're toting everything around the entire country. You have you know, your production in and of itself. It is very expensive to put on a live. So the freemium model doesn't necessarily work collectively. Now, there's a couple different ways we can do that, right? You have You have traditional broadcasts. So you think of your ESPNs or CBS Sports. In a sport our size, they're not going to pay for that content, right? So we have to then backfill. A lot of times we have to pay. And so if we had millions of dollars and we wanted to just say, hey, we're going to give you $5 million and you're going to put us on every Saturday and Sunday for the next 2 years or next year. I mean, in theory, you could do that. That is a strategy. And then you kind of have the YouTube. It's kind of just free. It doesn't really pay. You don't have a whole lot of control. It doesn't really pay enough to kind of cover costs. You have kind of a wider distribution strategy. Think like being able to distribute on like a Samsung TV or Pluto TV or Roku TV. That is a strategy that we're certainly looking for. We're looking at it really closely, and we're trying to kind of work on that. And then we have our DGN model, right? And so that we can completely control that. We can on subscriber, but I would say we're continuing to push a little bit more free content out to YouTube. So we're going to be doing an hour free of every round, for the season. So you'll be able to see at least part of it. Every round will be free, whether either on YouTube or within the app in our free part of the DGN app. So we are trying and changing things, and it's going to be a collection model, right? So there's going to be ways to get free here and free there, and sometimes a lot of the core group will be paying for a subscription to one place to go see everything. But this is also very common in other sports. We're seeing this kind of across the board in sports. There's multiple different subscription models.
Well, I want to pass this to Nate. Nate, as a tournament director, charging for tickets. I remember you were one of the first people to even try that. So on your side of things, how can we make experiences free for fans? Is that something you guys have talked about in the past? Like in regards to controlling the event or controlling the media, how have you talked about that?
Yeah, I tried it, and kind of my research had found that we would potentially see more people if the price was reasonable. And I think the reason why is people perceive value if you charge something. If everything is free, not going to be maybe as committed to going. I mean, we had a lot of people come to SFO last year from Colorado, from other states. If the event was free and they had to pay nothing, maybe they still would have come. But I think when you charge for something, I think you expect something great in return. And here, we need to charge because we need to take in the revenue to pay for all of the expenses. But I think with that comes the expectation that let's continue to add things. Let's continue to do things for the experience. And so I think there needs to be as cheap of the in-the-door ticket as you can get. And the Pro Tour has done a good job with having those $10 options for limited GA. And then if somebody wants to pay thousands of dollars for the experience of a lifetime, we give them that option. And so I think the free model to spectate, it works in a very small number of areas, like Nokia. They have that kind of area on certain holes where they can not charge. But I think for the most part, I think there is perceived value when you charge for something, even if it's $10. And I think you'll actually get more people to come out because they're more committed.
Thank you for that, by the way. Yeah, I would love to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think I understand the venues and paying. It makes it feel more can't miss, to where if something's free, you feel like you can miss it a little bit more. So I understand that. And also I think on the media side, I think where we are now is everything's a subscription, nowadays. So it makes sense that Disc Golf Network is a subscription based. But I also think we need to push on our apps that are free. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, Facebook, YouTube. We need to push out content. It doesn't necessarily have to be the free stuff, but that's how we find a lot of sports. We find a lot of content that we watch. We don't watch the live broadcasts. We see these clips, we see this, that's what gets us interested. And then if we really like it, we commit to something like DGN.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, Paul. Appreciate it. Let's jump actually to the course design. Lots have changed. I spent a lot of time out here looking at all the different changes, talking to players about different changes. Hole 2, brand new fairway for the FPO. Really interesting shot. Can you talk about what made you make that decision, and how are you guys feeling about it as well?
So that's an old tee pad from the Throw Down the Mountain days. That's what we used to play for the A tier. That used to be, I think, MPO and FPO tee shot. So that was one that has been pre-cut, and I think it brings a little bit more of an interesting tee shot for the FPO division. It's a new green as well, so we get to go more towards one basket, 2 tee pads versus having a lot of multiples. And I think you'll see a lot of that with the course overall. But I've heard nothing but good feedback from the FPO, thankfully, because it is always a little bit intimidating to change something that they didn't have an issue with before.
Let's jump to a different hole. 6. I heard multiple people, I even heard some spectators out here saying, this hole's way too easy. But I think a lot of players are enjoying it. Thoughts on that hole in general from all of you who've seen it or helped design it, obviously?
Go for it.
I would say when I first saw the video, I thought the same thing. But when I have laid out courses that are championship level, I don't always put a hole in like that. That's going to be an easy birdie. And I think it's actually psychologically important to do that, because if you have a Northwood Black or if you have a toboggan, which we've souped up, and I think there needs to be a hole that you just say, I need to birdie that, and if I don't, it's almost different pressure than playing the hardest hole in the world. That hole, it's super scenic. People watch at home and say, I could throw that, and then maybe they want to come play here and take a trip. And so I think it's great. You don't want a par 2, and I don't think that hole is. It's still 320, and the green is still tough with the hay bales and the sawgrass. So I think it's a great addition to the course.
Paul, I heard a player during a practice round say it would be really interesting if you planted sawgrass in place of the hay bales. Is that a little bit too mischievous, or is that a decent idea?
Well, that all used to be a sawgrass. That was like a sawgrass pit right there, and we just kind of eliminated all of it. Do I think that could work? Sure. If we continually maintained it and kept it low. But I think it's a very fun hole. The reasoning behind it. We changed 5 to make that a really challenging par 4, but also it's a way to get back. I didn't like the blind holes that 6 was originally, or the blind shots that hole 6 was originally, and I know people come here early, and I wanted something for them to film and get content and push it a lot, and that was the goal behind that, as well as it's not the easiest green to putt on. It's windy there, it's in a little bowl. So I think it will be surprisingly a little bit more challenging than how it looks. But we'll see. The hay bales were put there because it was very easy to slide it up. So we'll see. I'm excited. And if it is really easy, we'll see.
Tall Sawgrass Island. I'm just saying. That might be a thing. One more hole I want to just discuss. I was walking 16 the other day. There's an inside line that has opened up significantly. And I talked to some players. There are some lefties trying it off the tee. A lot of players are saying it might be just a bailout zone. Was that cut for spectators, or was that cut to be a part of the hole itself? We can start with Paul.
No, that was cut to more so feel like, I think, the FPO field, and putting it down there instead of trying to really make them push it out in the field. I think that's also allowed us to push the OB a little bit farther out in that field to make that OB carry a little bit more extreme than it has been in previous years. But it is also another route. If you don't want to push that OB, if you have a lead coming down the stretch and you don't want to mess with that OB, it is a very tight fairway, but it is there. And that was the ultimate goal from the beginning, but we just didn't know what the right width of that fairway being was.
Do you feel like that hole is done? Is there still more work to do in the future, or do you feel pretty satisfied with where it's at right now?
We will lift the tee pad up a little bit. Next year, so we'll have it up to where we'll have a deck built, and then you'll be able to see the landing. And long term, I do want a little bit more of a challenging green for MPO off to the far left, but in order to do that, we'll have to create a new walkway for 18, so we're not throwing where people are walking. So there is a long term goal there for the course in general, but we have to find a new way to get up 18, and that's a challenge. So it's not done, but for now.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Good luck out this week, Paul, and we'll see you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Joined here now by two past champions of the event and reigning world champion Gannon Burr. I just want to ask all you guys in general, how was winter? How much training did you guys put in? How much rest? We'll start with you, AB.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time working out. I didn't play as much disc golf as usual. This is going to be my first term of the season. I haven't done that before, but I feel ready. I feel fresh, so I'm excited.
Yeah, for me, it was I took a little bit off just to rest from a long season. Got back into the grind probably about early January. I've been practicing and just trying to make a small adjustments on my form and all of that. So yeah, doing well.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's the least I've played disc golf in any off season ever, but definitely, when the season was approaching, I started to hit it hard again, and I've already played a tournament. I already have a win this season so far, so I'm thinking, might be a little rusty still, but at least I got the competitive juices kind of flowing.
Well, I'll throw it right back to you, Gannon. You went 51 down at the Memorial over 4 rounds. You played a new course at Red Mountain. Talk about shooting at those courses, and did you feel satisfied with 51 down on courses like that? Be honest.
I mean, yeah, I was getting some jokes that wow, you didn't win by more, but I'm like, you can't really do that. I mean, I had a 17 under. There's not really more holes to birdie. So, I was pretty satisfied with the score. I think, I was talking to Parker while we were playing during the rounds and stuff, and I'm like, I haven't even thrown a shot shape yet. I was just throwing hyzer every hole. So I was like, I might be scoring fine now, but even when I have to maybe throw a shot shape, it still felt a little bit weird. So it's a huge difference from out there to out here. Out here is one of the most shot shape demanding courses. So it's definitely a bit different, but, like I said, it was just kind of good to get out there and shake the nerves off. It's always tough.
I want to ask all of you guys, you all kind of said I didn't play a lot of disc golf this offseason, and I feel like in years past that wasn't the case. What exactly was it that caused that this offseason?
I don't know. I felt pretty burnt out the last stretch of the season last year, and then I felt like if I just took a longer break, I'll want it more, and it definitely worked. I feel so ready to play. I'm excited for this upcoming season, and just stuff like that. I just wanted to get in the gym more and just get stronger all around, because if you're working out hard, you can't really throw good shots, I guess, if you're sore. But yeah, just mainly those two things.
Yeah, for me, the off season, my mom was elsewhere. I got married in January, so kind of the past couple months before that. Thank you. We're just kind of just making sure that everything for the wedding was fine, and then housing afterwards. So I was kind of just not really focused on Discraft this off. Not disc golf.
Chill, bro.
Sorry, not focused on disc golf. Yes, always focused on Discraft. But
Bob's
disc golf
this, yeah.
was kind of on the back burner for me this off season until January hit and started practicing again.
Yeah, I think for me, there's a couple things. I was a ton of traveling last off season, and hopefully that doesn't pick it up. But I did a ton of traveling last off season. I went around the globe, went to China, Europe for a month. So that was obviously, a lot was going on, and I kind of had a rough finish to my disc golf season, and then also just outside of disc golf last year was just kind of going through a lot. So it was kind of just want to take a little bit of a break, and it's exactly what I did.
But you did great at the match play championship.
I did, yeah.
As you're laughing at him, what's your reaction to him saying that?
He didn't finish out the season great because he got beat at the match play championship.
Yeah.
So just trying to rub that in.
And USCGC.
I think I would have beat you overall score though. So it's whatever, bro.
Too, so yeah, it's all good. You got it. You got it this year.
All right.
Going into the new year, we have a few new events. We have some new courses we're playing. We're going back to Hornets Nest. We're going to New Orleans. We're playing kind of an updated version of Olympus. What's the feeling of excitement in general with all these new changes to the tour? And right now, geographically, do you like how the tour's laid out?
Yeah, I'm really liking the new events. I think there's a couple of events that I'm so excited for. I mean, obviously, when you can play a new course next weekend in New Orleans, that's going to be really exciting. I've seen some pictures, and I'm really excited for that. But I think, a course like Hornets Nest, the times I have played in tournament, I've played pretty solid at it. It's a course I really enjoy playing, and having Jonesboro back on the tour, it's always a tournament I saw myself winning at some point, and I had a couple close chances but never was able to pull it out. So kind of those three events I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, for me, I love the way the tour is set up this year. I get to come home in every off week for the first 3 or 4 months of the tour. That's huge for me, being in Georgia. So, like Gannon said, the new events this year are awesome. New Orleans is one of my ones I'm most excited for, and then going back to Hornets Nest, I enjoyed it for the match play championships, and I'm excited to play there again.
Yeah, New Orleans, I heard it's super long, so I'm excited for that. And then I'm really excited to go to Sweden. I've never been to Sweden, and we have 2 events out there. But other than that, it's just nice to be on the East Coast this time of year. So
let's talk about Olympus. A lot of changes. I want to zoom into hole 5. I spent a lot of time out there yesterday. Really interesting change to the hole. I personally think in a good way, but I want to hear from the players. What do you guys think about 5, and how are you going to attack it?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the tightest landing zone in the course off that tee pad. It's like 440-ish to like a 20-foot landing zone to give yourself a chance for birdie. But still, there's still opportunity to go over the top and like save birdies. But I'm honestly looking for a par there. I like that change a lot. And then the change to the next hole just like kind of evens it out because it's such a like soft hole.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about hole 5. They did add the OB up at the top of the basket, which is, I mean, you're already kind of throwing a blind up the hill shot, so that could come into play, which is just another thing to watch out for. But yeah, I mean, super tight. It's going to be interesting how it plays.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of hole 5. I think the old hole was good. I'm not a fan of par 4s for certain par 4s for a couple reasons. One, that have very extreme angles and corners that almost bring in an over-the-top play, which it doesn't, that's not what the course is trying to invite you to do. And if that is one of your, options, not a huge fan of that. And I also don't like par 4s that, you throw an incredible tee shot and it's a very short approach into a green. I'm more of a fan of like something like hole 14 out here, where it's a pretty big backhand off the tee, but you still have to throw a decent-sized sidearm into the green. So I kind of like those 2-shot, more full shot, where you can kind of see the disc fly. But like I said, I don't think it's a bad hole. I just think it's not my preferred style. Obviously, you need a lot of precision. You got to have the right landing zone, and you got to throw a slower disc into the green.
Got a question for all of you. You two got your first wins here at this course. You didn't, but again, I want to ask you, included in this question, a lot of people say when someone gets their first big win that something psychologically happens to them or something impactful happens to them. I want to ask all 3 of you, when you think back to that first win, you two here, you at your first win, what comes to mind? Did anything actually impactful happen to you as an athlete?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it brought me up to a level of confidence to where I felt like I could win again. Like before that event, I would question myself and doubt myself, like, will I ever win a tournament? Like, it's been so long, I've been devoting this game to my whole life, will it ever happen? And then once it happened, I won 3 out of the next 5 events. So it just flipped a switch in my brain, I guess. Just a confidence thing.
Yeah, I mean, same thing for me. I got that win, and then I went on to win 2 more last year. So it's like, it's the same thing where it's like you're always doubting yourself until that moment finally comes, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this is actually not as hard as it seems or appears to be. Is like once you've already done it, it's easier to do again.
Yeah, I think for me it was a little different. I think my first win was at USCGC in 2022, and I had a really great battle there to kind of close that one out and had a lot of clutch shots. But I also had a lot of chances to win that season, and I think I'd gotten close enough to winning where I was like, it's bound to happen at some point. And I did get the win, but I think it took me a couple more wins to really convince myself that I can keep winning. And even to this day, the doubts still creep in. Am I going to be good this year? Am I going to be rusty to start the season like I have been the last 2-3 seasons? It's like those doubts still kind of creep in. But I think for me, it was kind of more of a gradual incline. As I saw myself competing week in, week out more consistently, I think that's kind of when I found myself actually feeling more confident about getting wins.
Well, I want to say all 3 of you at this point, with the wins you guys have gotten, are no longer underdogs on the tour. You guys were once young, playing as kids, playing juniors, dipping your toes into MPO, but now you're the leaders of this division for the most part. When you come into a season like this where there is a spotlight on you, do you welcome that pressure? Do you feel any pressure when it comes to that? Do you feel like there's expectations you have to live up to?
I mean, yeah, it's been like chaos this week, honestly, with all the media stuff and promotion. Like, I've just been super busy every day, and it honestly helps with the nerves because it keeps me distracted a little bit and kind of turn into like some more excitement. But I definitely feel the pressure. But I mean, you just got to roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think a lot of people watching have expectations. They put a lot of expectations on us, where it's like I'm sure last year it's like, oh, AB's, you have to win again, like all that. And then this year for me, it's like, okay, like people are just naturally expecting me to be up on top again. I don't know. I'm not expecting that for myself because, I mean, let's be real. This is kind of the tournament where everybody like shows what they've worked on all off season, and just everybody can, yeah. So it kind of just sorts people out for the first couple events to kind of get back into the swing of tour, get back into, all of this. But yeah, so I don't expect to win this weekend, but I want to, obviously do well. But like some expectations just aren't gonna happen. If it does, fantastic. But
Yeah, I feel like for me, coming off that 2024 season was probably my best season to this date for sure. I had a lot of expectations coming into 2025, whether it be maybe it's just a flash in the pan of a season, am I able to keep it up and still be, consistent at the top? And I played a really solid season last year as well. So I think having 2 seasons that I'm happy with back to back, I think for me it's more of like, I'm just going out there, I got, a big win last year at the Worlds, and I think for me it allows me to kind of relax and just see what happens. I'm not really, if I take early bogeys in rounds, it's not the biggest deal in the world, and I can kind of just move on. I'm really out here having fun, playing freely, and I think for me it's like I hear the expectations, but for myself, I'm just going to go out there and do what I always do, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but that's just how it is.
One last question about the course. AB, you're talking about hole 6. You said it's soft. You feel like it's a soft hole. First off, what do you feel like could be done to make it better? Island, add different types of shrubbery around the basket, whatever. And 2, what are you throwing on that shot?
I don't think it needs to be changed, honestly. I like it because they made some of the other holes so much harder. So it's nice to just have a hole where, and honestly, now that you're saying that, like I feel more pressure on myself to birdie it, so that's good.
Sorry.
But I'm just going to throw a zone on that, just like a force over flex, and just try to keep it close, honestly. Or if I'm feeling it, I'll try to ace run it and make the 30-footer, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, 6, I'm probably throwing a roach. I'm going to be honest, just a straight putter. Just try to kind of hit the ground right before the basket, skip up to about 15. Make sure I get over the hay bales. That's pretty much it.
No ace run?
No, probably not. I mean, unless it's on accident. So.
Same here, no ace run. But I think I'd be throwing a tactic that I just put in the bag. It's a bit more of like a driving putter than it is like an approach putter like I've used in the past. But I still might go with my old trusty P3X. It's a little bit slower, so that's going to be probably a game time decision. A little bit more wind, I'll probably go tactic, but yeah, it kind of just depends.
Well, I have something for you, boys.
I'm excited.
There's a mythical character in Florida lore called Florida Man, and everyone seems to have a little bit different vision of what that is. So I'm going to have you draw what your vision of Florida Man is. I'll give you just a couple minutes, pass one down, and then, when time's up, I'll let you show it to the camera.
Okay.
And if somebody, as they're drawing, wants to explain what they've heard, they can.
I've heard like all the memes where it's like Florida Man like arm wrestles a gator and loses teeth or something.
So a rugged man.
Yeah,
Bro, my marker's not working.
You just don't know how to draw.
I'm dry. It's dry as a bone.
I'm not an artist.
It's kind of working. Oh, no, we're back. We're back.
Dude, this guy's crazy looking.
Yeah, this guy's awesome.
Dude, he's like, you do not want to meet this guy.
From what I hear, it sounds like you guys are drawing something positive?
No.
Uh-oh.
No, this ought to kill you. I don't even know what's on his head.
Gannon, is there an Iowa man?
No.
Nah.
All right, my drawing's finished.
Dude, we still got time, all right? So chill.
You still have time. Gannon, you can share with the crowd what you have.
All right. I drew a human alligator mix.
Right.
Because I've never heard of Florida Man, so that's my guess.
Thank you, Gannon.
Thank you.
Anthony, what do you have?
I got like the man bear pig thing. Isn't that what it is?
Man, bear, pig. I'm sure that's close.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ezra, I'm going to give you just a few more seconds. Are you cooking?
I'm going to need it.
Oh, I
Allow
think
them
you
to
already
cook.
cooked.
Are you guys gonna sell these, or should we PSA slab them?
You can sell them on
We
Whatnot.
could.
Yeah.
You should go crazy on Whatnot.
Brixton, if you want
Here, I'll
to
sign it. We'll do a giveaway.
laminate them. All right,
All
Ezra.
right, I'm good. He's choke holding an alligator, like just going nuts.
Beautiful.
Right?
Just
I don't know
getting
what's on
nuts.
his head, but maybe like a rocket ship.
Boys, thank you so much. AB has signed his.
Yep.
So make sure to hit him up on Instagram if you want to buy it from him. That is their version of Florida Man. Boys, thank you so much for your time, and
Sweet.
good luck out there this week.
Thank you.
So much. Appreciate it. $500.
Welcome back, and joining us now, 3 Floridians heading into the Disc Golf Pro Tour season. You're starting essentially at home. I would love to just ask all 3 of you, Garrett, Madison, and Calvin, how was the winter here in Florida?
Yeah, it was nice. I was here most of the winter, and weather was great, so no complaints here. I'm a little bit south of here and on the coast, so it's generally a little warmer there than it even is here.
We had a little bit of cold, but it's been a drought, so it's been a lot of sun. So a lot of beach time, a lot of river time. It's been nice.
Yeah, spent a lot of time with the family here in the off season, and just been trying to keep it low key. Rested my foot a little bit, and got some new foot orthotics for my foot from Levon Wolf, and really just been getting my practice on in the nice weather.
Well, Garrett, I want to throw it right back to you. I remember talking to you at USDGC when all this started going down with your foot. Can you kind of tell the fans what happened, if you care to share?
I just gathered over the course of time. I've always had a little bit of foot pain on my left foot. Sorry. Excuse me, we got some banging going on right now. So I had some left foot pain, and I just thought it was just from playing a lot, and needless to say, it was either a fracture or a fallen arch is what they've gathered. But I got new foot orthotics. I'm able to play in practice without any pain. So
Old people problems.
yeah, old people problems. But Brooksville requires a lot of walking and hiking, so I definitely wanted to make sure I gathered some attention towards that before the season started.
Well, you joke about old people problems, but I mean, all three of you are not necessarily old, but veterans of the tour. And none of you mentioned in talking about your off seasons any disc golf. I'd love to hear how much you played. Calvin, I know you went over to Asia. I would love to know like what the training versus rest is nowadays after all these years on tour.
Yeah, you know, I definitely played some. I did go over to Asia in January for 1 week and played the Asia Open over in Taiwan. But besides that, you know, I've been going out and playing with some friends when I could. You know, I've had a little bit of a finger injury I've been dealing with, so not a whole lot recently. But you know, before that, I was playing some.
I have barely touched a disc, but that's kind of what I do every year. I did play my local bag tag round, the Emerald Coast round that we do at the beginning of January, but that has been the only time I've really tried to take a big break this year after some pretty good burnout at the end of last year. It was a long and busy season, so it kind of makes me excited to come back and play. I've been playing in just little 9-hole stints on this course instead of just attacking the whole thing cold, and it's going well. I mean, I feel like once you know how to throw the disc and you've been doing it for a long time, you just got to get your body back into it, but it's coming back nicely.
Yeah, after resting my foot for a little bit, I felt kind of like a caged dog, just like ready to get out and play. So I got a lot of practice rounds in with my friends, some of my family, and some people I haven't seen in a while. So those were also good reasons to get out and play, being I'm always on the road and family's always wanting to play around and stuff like that when we just want to chill in the off season, but we got our rounds in.
And this course is brutal to come back to. Like this being the first one on tour, like it's demanding, and physically and like the lines you have to throw. So it's a good challenge.
Well, I'd love to dive into the course, but just one quick side tangent. I'd love to hear more about your trip to Asia, Calvin. Was that first time going over there? What was the experience like? I saw you play with Jackie Chen. Yeah, how was the whole trip?
Yeah, that was my first time over to Asia, and you know, it was great. You know, I kind of got contacted by a local Kwan over there through Innova who wanted to bring me over there, and you know, they brought me over there and took me around, chauffeured me around, took me to all the sites, and had all kinds of, you know, different foods. So it was a real great experience. I'd definitely like to go back, hopefully for, you know, longer than whatever, a week next time. It was a lot of flying for 1 week, but I really enjoyed Taiwan and would love to kind of explore maybe Taiwan again and then some other countries.
How did you feel? How did the game feel playing out there in Asia?
It felt pretty solid. You know, it wasn't, you know, crisp, like I hadn't been playing a ton, but as a whole, I felt like, you know, I played well for, you know, the amount I had been playing.
I'm going to kick this over to Double G, but then I'd maybe like to ask all of you similar question. I know you two started, Garrett and Calvin, when you were kids, started playing this game. You've been playing a long time. Garrett, could you describe the first time that you either played with Calvin or the first time you heard about him as a juniors player, and vice versa with you, Calvin?
Yeah, he was in the Clearwater area. I was in Gainesville, so we were a couple hours away, but through the grapevine, you always hear of disc golfers growing up in the making, and Calvin Heimberg was definitely one of them. I was more down the Climo, Ron Russell route growing up in their era, and Calvin was maybe a little bit behind that. But I was just going through some stats last night, and I want to say 2001 was my first time out on this property, and I think Calvin's first time was 2011 or 2010, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, it might have even been later for me, because I don't know when they brought this tournament back, but I think it might have been 2013 or 14, but somewhere in that range was my first time out here. But yeah, I knew of Garrett. You know, he was up there playing pros when, you know, I was still a kid. He was kind of a kid too. Yeah. But so I'd heard of Garrett and I saw him play, but I don't think I really got a chance to play with him until, you know, I got a lot better. That might have been around 2013 or 14, that same time range. So
I remember we tied at the Jacksonville Open and went into a playoff, and he was staring down like a 40-footer, and I thought he was going to drill it because he was putting good all weekend. And that's pretty much one of the memories that sticks out to me, is me and Calvin going into the playoff at Jacksonville Open, and finally Johnny McRae not winning it. So
who did win?
Garrett.
I won, but that isn't about the memory. You know, it was a nice one, but that's just one that sticks out to me because Calvin played his ass off that weekend.
Well, I want to ask you, Madison, you've obviously known these two for a long time. You've been playing Florida disc golf for a while as well. When you started coming up in the game, FPO or MPO, who were the people that you heard of right away in the area or nationally?
I played actually, since I'm from Pensacola, a lot more up in the Gulf Coast region instead of in Florida. So I did a lot more small events with the Southern Nationals tournament circuit in Mississippi and Louisiana. And then I started playing B and C tiers in Georgia more than anywhere else.
That's where we met.
Yeah, that is where we met.
Doubles partners. First day we met.
I forgot about that.
I did not.
Oh, but yeah, so it was not. And I also came into disc golf not knowing anything about it at all. I knew nothing about the pros. I remember playing a tournament at Chickasabogue in Mobile, and one of the girls I was playing with, Sarah Sankbell, she was like, "Those two guys are pros," and it was Matty O and Barsby, and they were hanging upside down on monkey bars, and that was my first introduction to those are professional disc golfers, and I was like, "Huh, I think I need to learn more about this." So yeah, I was around the Matty O area.
Well, let's dive into some Florida disc golf. This course is phenomenal. It feels like year after year it keeps getting cleaner and cleaner. Obviously, there's still some changes. It feels like it's not fully done yet, but maybe just talk about your experiences coming here maybe for the first time and after hearing about it, but then now talk about the venue that it's becoming.
Yeah, I think, I didn't get a chance to come to it until it kind of got redesigned from the original, and it's changed quite a bit from then to now. And I would say, it still kind of has the same thematic elements. It's always been great because, being a Floridian, we don't get a whole lot of elevation, and there's a ton out here. We get a lot of up and down throws, which is cool and different. And but yeah, I don't know. I think it's slowly evolved for the better. It's certainly become more of a pro level course than it was the first time I played it. And
it's weird when you do nothing but flat ground all off season though, and then you come here first and you're like, wait, are we still in Florida? This is weird.
Yeah, I remember this being just such a treacherous track where everything was, the rough was times 20 out here. I'm not kidding. It was a 27-hole course designed by Greg Hosfeld, and John Benefield owned the property here. And we also played some where we park now in the field over there. We played while some of the cows were out, and I mean, just to share another fun memory back in the day, I want to say it was around 2001, my friend Jorge Domenech, we called him Loco, he threw a shot and he followed through and slipped in a hot pile of cow patty. And I know it's a funny one, but I remember that because he was screaming all over the course. And there's 27 holes out here. We could hear him everywhere. So, but the course has changed for the better. Danny McConnell has put some steps in here and done a lot of work out here day in, day out for the past couple years. And shout out to him for making it look so beautiful, and all the rest of the people that helped. So,
Madison, the FPO layout has changed a lot. Hole 1, it looks like a different tee pad. Hole 2, we got a brand new tee pad, going back to an old fairway. Yep. It sounded like a lot of feedback came in and a lot of good things came out. Were they good things? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. They didn't have an FPO layout here for a while. I've played this tournament a bunch since I started in 2014-ish, 13, 14. And so and I always kind of bugged Mike Barnett when he was running the event, let's get some FPO pads out here. But I think it looks amazing. I love that they added the old hole 2. That was my first time I ever got to go in a playoff before with Elaine King. It was one of my favorite disc golf memories at this course. So happy to see that one back. They did a great job with the layout. It's challenging. It's appropriate for FPO. And I think we're going to see some really good scoring separation with both distance players and accuracy players, because there's a lot of tunnels that require kind of bomber shots. It'll be exciting.
Well, I want to zoom in for Calvin and G. Hole 5, really interesting hole, really demanding. I spent a lot of time just getting distances and looking at landing zones. What are your thoughts on this change, and how are you, at least now, going to attack it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get over there to where I have, that little tiny tunnel up and down. I think I'm attacking it with either a T-bird or a Thunderbird to get me down in that goalie. Driver seems to push a little too far where you get pinched, but landing zone off the tee is far and very small. I have seen some people that miss short, kind of go over the top. I haven't practiced that at all, so I probably won't do it unless I get in a position where I have to. But yeah, very, very tricky, and you know,
OB? Is OB new?
Yeah, there's OB very close to the basket. You can easily roll off the cage and into the out of bounds. Done that multiple times already. So,
well, Calvin, I know Double G is an over-the-top kind of guy. If there's a line, he'll try to throw out the spike hyzer. Would you call yourself someone who likes to throw over the top of stuff? Is that just not part of the arsenal, or?
I mean, I think I can do it. I just,
of course. I
feel like it's, I don't know. I feel like when I look at the course, if it's just like there's an A to B, I would rather throw straight at it than up and over something.
You're like low ceiling specialist, I feel like.
I
Florida
agree.
golfer.
Florida golfer, true.
I might hit a couple more things than Calvin, so I like to, when in doubt, just go about. Go over.
I would love to hear from you on your thoughts on hole 5 and what you're thinking about.
Yeah, like Calvin said, I used to maybe get a rock down there, but I'm going to go on the T-bird, star T-bird.
Off the tee?
Yeah, star T-bird off the tee, and then I'm going to attack it straight up the tunnel, just like Calvin said. I'm going to just try to approach it that way.
And then AB was talking about kind of the back and forth. Hole 5, so challenging, so demanding. Then you get to hole 6, brand new hole, ace run shot. Is there any sense of an ace run from a decision-making standpoint, or is it just pin it and put it next to the pin? Calvin?
I think it's just kind of try to pin it.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a backdrop, but I mean, you don't really want a 30, 35 footer. So
it's rough
I think
back there too.
I think it's just try to get over the hay bales and slide up to it. But if it goes in, it goes in. Most aces are accidents. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
Madison, what are your thoughts?
On that new hole?
Yes.
It's fun. It's downhill, so it's a little hard to control everything, and especially where you see any sort of wind, it's going to be weird. And I found myself deep a lot, even throwing putters. I found myself in the shul deep. So, it's a fun little technical downhill hole, but it's like a little bit of outside of your control as well, which I like.
Yeah, I think I'm going to throw my AVR X3, something a little I can push hard off the tee and not worry about going too far behind the basket.
One last hole I wanted to talk about, 16. Another interesting hole. That inside line is opened up. I was watching you practice the flex shot on the outside the other day. The OB on the right has come in tremendously. Is the hole, from a decision-making standpoint, straightforward, or are there multiple options in regards to getting down the fairway?
I think there's multiple options. That flex shot is pretty difficult to actually get it through the gap and fade and get yourself into a place where you feel like you can attack the second shot. But
like flexing over OB?
Yeah, like flexing over the out of bounds. But I don't know. I think I'm kind of playing that route, and then the miss is with a slightly more stable disc, so hopefully it misses, inside on the left, which I think I could then still scramble for par. But if I throw it perfect, I might have a chance at birdie. But yeah, I think that's probably one of the tougher holes on the course. There's a lot to miss, and even once you throw a good tee shot, it's not really necessarily a gimme, depending on exactly where you land.
Two very demanding shots. Two very demanding.
What about for the FPO basket? What's your thought on that?
We have a shorter basket. It's a little bit tucked, so it kind of requires, I think, like a lot more simple of a second shot with a little hyzer, but that requires you first to get into the direct center of the fairway. I don't know if it quite rewards FPO to go that flex shot that they're talking about, because you can't quite get far enough. There's like a little middle lane that's pretty dense. They did clear it out a lot though, which is nice, but I'm trying to talk all the young guns into just going mid, pitch up, play for your par, get out of there, because it's a rough hole for the distance for FPO for most of the field.
Garrett, I want to ask you, on the flex line, because the OB is so tucked in now and you're over the OB a lot, how overstable do you have to go to execute it appropriately?
I'm going slightly overstable Firebird, where I don't really. I try to stay away from throwing a super hard shot on a shot where there's OB on the right hand side. So the miss is on the left. Just like Calvin said, throw something a little bit more overstable than less. I pulled it off with the Sexton Firebird in practice, but I think if there's any wind variation, I'm going to bump up to my more overstable Firebird.
Well, thank you for that, and thanks for all the stories and the Florida, I guess the lore from Florida Disc Golf. I have more Florida lore for you. There's that mythical character. Take one and pass it down. There's a mythical character in Florida lore called Florida Man, and you've probably all heard of it. Calvin's got a sticker of it on his bag. Everyone seems to have a different idea of what it is. I'd love for you to draw what your idea of Florida Man is. You have just a couple minutes, and then when you're
couple
done,
minutes?
feel free to show it up to the camera.
I'm lost. I don't know what we're doing about
Florida
it.
man, okay.
The previous group,
This doesn't even work. What is this?
not from Florida,
There's more Sharpies in that bag.
drew a bunch of animal-human hybrids.
Doesn't even work.
There we go. Take that. This is.
And if somebody's drawing, maybe Madison, could you explain what you're drawing and what the essence of this mythical character is?
Well, like naturally, I'm going to go animal drawing as well, just because that's where I live. So, I feel like Florida Man is up for interpretation. It just depends on where you are in Florida as to what type of Florida Man you're going to get. But I'm pretty consumed right now with the Florida Manatee. So that's going to be my version of Florida Man.
Beautiful.
He's
and
got shades on too for
cheesy.
the sun. Yeah, we love a pun, right?
I think so.
But yeah, I think it's great. You see different types of Florida Man. Mine's a more southern Florida Man, and then we get down to Brooksville and feel like it gets a little bit more stereotypical. Maybe get some cigars.
Well, Calvin, you have it on your bag. Do you think what she's saying is accurate?
Yeah, I don't really. I'm not thinking mammals at all. I'm thinking reptiles. Honestly.
I almost drew Calvin, honestly.
Got a little
Easy to
snake
draw.
Yeah.
Garrett, what do we have here?
I got Calvin holding the Bud Light.
there. Oh. Wow.
I didn't even look at yours yet.
Well,
He's got a bud in his
Look
hand.
at those shoes.
Yeah, he's got big
those are
feet.
nice. I just got
Sorry,
a
Nikes.
nice little guy boating down the river, probably in the Everglades. Got a little gator and a little python, invasive species. You know, that's what I'm thinking of. But
Yep. I love that.
I mean, I guess he could have a Bud Light too. I could have that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think
There's
this
some
one could
Nikes on there
too.
for him.
We can
Beautiful.
we can go Bud Lights all around.
Well, we will slowly fade this out, but right now, let's show what we have to the camera. We're kicking off the season in Florida, and this is a very varied response. That's Florida Man, folks. Thank you, guys. We'll see you out there. Good luck.
Thank you. God.
Welcome back. Final group of the press conference kicking off the 2026 season. Ella Hansen, Holland Hanley, Kat Murch. So happy to have you guys back. Ella, I want to start with you, defending champion. How was your off season and what did you do?
It was pretty good. Was home in Seattle. I did a lot of woodworking. That was pretty fun.
What did you build?
I volunteered at a place that builds tiny homes for homeless transitional housing, so that was pretty cool. Got to build some cool houses there, and built all of my holiday presents. I made my brother a little what's it called? A picnic table that is miniature and it's a bird feeder, so that was pretty fun, among other things.
Cool.
Holland, what about you?
I mean, I was back in Oklahoma. I spent about a month working out, about a month working on my course, and about a month practicing.
Nice and organized.
Very organized.
Well, on the other side of things, Kat Murch was all over the world. She was in New Zealand.
Yeah.
On the other side of things. You spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
I've been told that country in general is soul-soothing. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, I do. New Zealand's the best. Shout out to the boys, Cart Mafia.
Can you talk about your experience playing down there?
Oh, playing, it was fantastic. I think I played 3 events. One of them had Mount Taranaki in the back, and that was lovely. And then we played at Spa Park in Taupo, and that was nice too. Like a whole lake around there with I guess it's a volcano, like under the lake. And then up in New Zealand, the New Zealand Open in Auckland. So went into the city, had a couple fun nights, and it was good.
Well, talk about the golf. When you go out to New Zealand, you're playing, obviously everyone says it's a wonderful place to just exist.
Yeah.
How much are you training to win the tournaments in the off season? And how much are you just kind of treating it like a vacation tournament?
Well, I'm always training to win. That's what I like to do. It just doesn't happen as much as I want.
So then what was the schedule like during those tournaments out there?
I was pretty orderly. Henry actually set up a travel Bible, and we followed that schedule pretty tentatively. And we did clinics, we did a boat ride, which is great, and we did bungee jumping, and then we have the tournaments, and then the shows on at the bars after the night, like a players' party. So it was good.
Back to you, Ella. You didn't mention a lot of disc golf when you were talking about your off season. You did some woodworking, which is great, and what you did it for was fantastic. But when does the training kick in for you? I know you like to lift as well in the off season.
Yeah, I was working out, lifting throughout the whole off season. Definitely took a little bit of time off at the end of the season from playing. I mean, it's not like I didn't touch a disc for a month or anything. I was still playing, but definitely ramping it up more towards the beginning of the season. Not that I didn't play disc golf, I just was enjoying my time to spend do some other things as well.
Zoom into last year. Won this tournament. Right there with Holland in the playoff. Kat was just outside the playoff, shot the hot round the final day. What do you remember from those final moments coming down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this course I play really well at here, and I was just feeling really prepared and really confident in my shots that I needed to throw, and executed them really well. That's kind of what I remember feeling is like just I know what I need to do, and I feel like I can do it. And we all sometimes know what we need to do, but the feeling that you can do it isn't always there. So I felt like that was a special moment for me.
Well, all 3 of you that tournament played well, and I want to ask a sports psychology question and hear your perspectives on all 3. When you're playing in the zone, when you're in that flow state, and you feel like you can't do any wrong, what does that moment or that feeling feel like to you? Does it feel intense? Does it feel calm? What is it for each of you?
I mean, I remember after the tournament was over last year, like I wrapped my mind around winning, but my body was like tense, So I feel like, for me at least, I still have a lot of thoughts going in my head, and sometimes those thoughts derail your body, and you feel kind of out of control, and sometimes the thoughts are still there, but the body's still doing what you want it to do. So I would say that's kind of what the flow state is for me. Like, it's not necessarily that I'm locked in mentally in a different way than I would normally be, like, but that my body is like, yeah, let's do it, That's not always like that.
Yeah, I would say usually for me the key factor is I'm just not scared. So sometimes I'll still feel nervous and sometimes I'll feel calm, but it's kind of like the days when I'm really doing well, it just doesn't really matter what I'm feeling. I'm just not that worried about it. I'm kind of like, all right, I'm nervous, but like I'm able to focus and like clear that fear well enough to like stay loose and do what I need to do. So yeah, for me, it's just all about like having this kind of like wanting to make the shot more than you're scared of missing the shot.
Kat.
Yeah, pretty much alongside Holland, that lack of fear and lack of consequence of the shot. You're just pretty much in the moment, fully, completely submersed into it. I usually feel pretty calm when I'm in my flow state, although I do have that feeling right here of like, but you know, if you can control that feeling, for me, I think that's my flow state.
Well, all three of you played well last year, but you're coming this year to a relatively different course. There's a lot of new fairways cut, new tee pads, new basket placements. Talk about the changes, and while this car alarm goes off in the background, what are your thoughts, and how are you attacking the changes out there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of new infrastructure out here overall. Like the tees and everything look awesome. I like a couple of the changes. There's a few I'm not as excited about. I feel like hole 3 didn't really need to get changed. You know, I wish they would change the OB line on 16. There's just a couple things, but I do like the change on 11. I like the change on 2. So I think that there's, you know, some good and some bad, and I appreciate that the people working on the course are really open to the feedback and wanting to make this the best course possible. So definitely different looks, especially on the front 9 than last year, and yeah, just kind of adjusting to what that looks like and taking it shot by shot.
Yeah, you can tell they're really trying to elevate the level of construction and just quality of a course, the woodworking and the tee pads. Beautiful. And it's art, you know, it's beautiful. And like Ella said, they've been very open to the feedback, and they're really trying to zero in on the small details to make this the best course. You can tell they've taken a lot of inspiration from the top European courses, and so that's been really great. And yeah, I agree with Ella. Most of the changes I think are really, really good. I really like the change on 2, giving us a more technical shot early on in the course, and then of course the rollaway potential at the green. I think that's going to be really, really fun. As for me and my game plan, I'm keeping it simple. I'm throwing the simplest shots I can, relying on, you know, those overstable kind of pushing hyzer backhands, and same thing on the forehands. There's a couple times where I have to shape something, like on 16, you know, kind of hitting something flat and getting it to drift over, but I'm keeping it as simple as possible. I want to play a really just boring and like steady game this week.
So you're telling me no ace run on 6?
No ace run on 6. I will be aiming at the base.
Yeah, Danny's done a great job out here, man. He's put in hours and hours. I talked to him. I know, dude. It's insane. I talked to him the other day, and he's like, I went through 3 Suburbans already, and I've been up here from like sun up to sundown for months. It's like, all right, dude. It shows. So he's done a great job out here, and the course has got teeth off the tees, and I like that. So if I can get off the tees well, it's going to be great. A lot of new potential for different types of scoring. I think it's going to challenge the field, but also reward people who have been practicing.
This course, year after year, feels like it's turning more and more into a venue than just a private disc golf course. And as you move into this new chapter of professional disc golf, bigger partners, more visibility, what do you feel like you're wanting from a disc golf venue as a player, not just as spectator experience, stuff like that?
I mean, I think they've taken great steps here. I think, like they both said, the infrastructure, the tee pads, like that is, as a player, you know, when you go to Europe, and I would say a lot of the tee pads here are kind of taking inspiration from how they're constructed in Europe, and it just feels professional. Like it's not just a piece of turf thrown on the ground. These are like well-built platforms. And it really feels permanent. I think that like having that sense of permanent structure on the course, and you know, I think obviously it's a disc golf event, so you got to have some temporary stuff. But I think having that infrastructure on the course itself is great. And then, yeah, just like having lots of fun things for fans and players to do. You know, making sure we got warm-up space and all that stuff. But I would say it's been looking really good. I'm excited for the weekend.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to add to that, but I really think just like maximizing the experience for the spectators, because you know, at the end of the day, that's what makes all of this work is the fact that people are willing to come out. So any way that we can, you know, kind of maximizing their experience and giving them like the most entertainment and most value, while also keeping the course and the lines and like the very quintessential disc golf kind of feeling there. I feel like they're doing a great job here of balancing those two things.
Yeah, they pretty much hit it on the nail right there with everything. The course is great. It's got all the shots. Spectators can come out and watch. And we have vendors here. We have food. There's bathrooms on site. Like, we have all the essentials here to make it great, and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a good weekend.
I got one last question for you. I've heard that ticket sales are way up for this event. So when it comes to playing in front of the crowd, what are you looking forward to after a long off season?
Oh, it's just fun to, you know, be excited, have people excited to see you, and just enjoy good disc golf. I mean, we're all spectating the other players on our card as well, so I think that's one of the most fun aspects of being a player is watching one of your card mates throw a beautiful shot, or you know, hitting a really tough scramble. So you know, I'm excited to enjoy the spectator side of things as well. And yeah, just like seeing people out here enjoying the beautiful course and yeah, having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in, you know, middle of nowhere, Oklahoma for 3 months talking to like 5 people tops. So it's a very different feeling when we get out here. We've got fans, but I mean, you know, even playing the Pro-Am and, you know, getting here early around the Jomez practice round and getting to interact already with some fans, it's super fun. I think it helps me kind of zoom out a little bit and not get so focused on, you know, the birdies and the bogeys, but to see kind of that like we're positively impacting people in a way. And then on the competitive side of things, like I love like doing a big shot and then having the crowd go crazy. That's the fun part, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for this weekend.
There's nothing like the crowd, man. We're showmen as well as competitors, so it'll be nice to be back around the people. It's a privilege to play for them.
One tiny little question before I got something for all y'all. Kat, Jonesboro's back.
Yeah.
You won Jonesboro.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful moment.
Like 3 years ago.
What are your thoughts on that tournament coming back?
I think it's going to be fantastic. I played the 8 here last year, I believe, so they switched it around. So it's going to be quite interesting. I know the boys back home are they're gonna love people coming back up to Old Jonesboro.
Well, I don't know what if there's an Arkansas man archetype, but in Florida lore, there's a mythical character called Florida Man. Take one and pass it down. Everyone has a different idea of what that means. So for the rest of this time, I would love for you to draw what your idea of Florida Man is, and feel free to show it to the camera when you're done.
I guess this is a quick sketch, eh?
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm going vertical.
I can't draw what I actually want to draw.
I'm so bad at drawing.
That sounds wonderful. Ella, is there a Seattle man?
I mean, probably, but it doesn't talk to anyone. Got that Seattle freeze, you know?
Kat, could you walk us through what you're drawing right now?
A circle.
Okay.
It's
a good shape.
A backwards hat. Not angry eyes, but just furrowed, you know? Just furrowed.
Haggard.
Yeah, haggard a little bit.
This is gonna be a stick figure, man.
Oh, mine's like half stick figure. I'm trying to make it not all stick figure.
Are the fans excited to see this? Should they be?
I hope so. I hope mine's not offensive. It's got a cigarette hanging out of its mouth.
They're legal sometimes, right? Outside?
I think they're legal.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely got a mullet, so.
Uh-oh, my pen's starting to die. It's okay. We can make it happen.
Give you about another minute.
Oh, I'm not ready. One's got really long arms.
Ella, what are you working on right now?
Mine, I think I'm done. Mine's just a man with a gator tail.
Two legs, one gator tail.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
You're welcome. Wow.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Those are good.
All right, my pen's about done.
Oh my God.
Colin.
I got a guy with a trucker hat and a beer bottle ripping on a golf cart.
What a dream.
Trailer park dream right there.
I'm
But you had a pen that worked.
I'm so
What the
sorry if this offends anyone. I've got a guy holding a 9mm, smoking a cigarette with a backwards hat, flannel, and some poorly drawn boots.
It is a beautiful afternoon here in Brooksville, Florida. The press conference is complete. And good luck to all three of you ladies. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you out there.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry, Florida.